Welcome to episode 2 of the Lonely Cast.
What's up?
I'm Abigail, and I'm here with your co-host, Brittany, as well.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, besties.
Literally, I resist the urge to say hey, besties, every single time we start an episode.
Oh, I greet everyone like that.
Man, hey, besties. Like, at work,
Hey,
I'm
what's
like,
up?
hey, how y'all doing? Like, I'm sorry. I don't have anything else to offer you aside from, like, weird internet references.
Mm-hmm. I forget that, like, not everyone watches TikTok.
I know.
So I, like, say things and people look at me funny and I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess you don't get it.
I mean, earlier today on my close friend story, I was talking to a Hinge match and I, like, referenced that, like, Reddit photo of, like, the being forced to drink milk photo. It's, like, the two girls, like, the one is standing over the other girl holding her hair and, like, forcing her to drink that drink that I think is, like, a shot from a porno. I'm not gonna lie to you. But, like, it's always been, like, edited into weird things. So it's just, like, this meme that has constantly been, like, floating around. And I referenced it to a Hinge match of mine because I was like, I'm going to force you to drink oat milk. And he was open to it. It was consensual. But I referenced that that's what we would be. And he was, like, super down for it. And then I shared the photo on my close friend story saying, like, oh, me, my Hinge match, oat milk. And if you don't know the photo that I'm talking about, don't try to look it up because you are going to be bombarded with images from Pornhub.com. I did that earlier and I was like, oh, this is not what I was looking for, but thank you, I guess. But I shared that and then my friend commented on it and she was like, she commented on the messages at first and she was like, oh, haha, like from a baby's bottle, that's so funny, haha. And then she saw the photo that I had posted and she was like, oh, this was not what I was thinking of at all. And I was like, oh, it's okay. She was like, it's not as sexy as I thought it was going to be. And I was like, okay.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everybody. This image has been stuck in my mind since like 2017, 2016. And
Yeah, it's been around for a really long time.
Mm-hmm. It's still, I love it. Big mood.
Right on.
How do we segue this conversation into ghosts now?
I don't know.
Do we just acknowledge the fact that we're segueing the conversation into ghosts?
Yes. Hi. We're here to talk about ghosts.
Hey, what's up, besties? I want to talk about some paranormal activity.
I guess just, like, I believe in ghosts and, like, demons and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's got to be something.
True. Okay, wait. So do you believe in, like, just ghosts? Or you included demons in that, too. So, like, are you, like, there's, like, evil spirits or, like...
I don't know. I feel like it's just, like, in my brain is, like, good ghost is just a ghost and, like, a bad ghost is, like, a demon.
Okay.
For some reason, I tie those together. Mm-hmm. Which I guess they wouldn't be.
I think they're, like... If we want to get scientific about it, as scientific as you can get about stuff like this. But I think they're different, technically, because there's, like, demons are from, like, the spiritual realm of, like, heaven and hell type thing. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong. And there's, like, people that, like, study demonology, which is separate from whatever the people that study ghosts is. Ghostiology. That's totally not right.
That sounds right.
Ghostiology. Going to school.
You just put, like, ology after, like, anything.
Honestly, yeah. I think they're different technically, but honestly, make it whatever you want. It's our podcast. So.
We actually made up ghosts and demons.
Yeah. They didn't exist before this moment. We're bringing them into existence now. Be prepared.
So demons are, like, I don't get what the difference is. Because it's, like, isn't a ghost a spirit, or is that different?
Well, I think, like, okay, this is, like, Bible stuff, but when God created the heavens, he also created, like, a bunch of angels. So there's, like, angels that are, like, pretty much good demons. So they're, like, spiritual entities that weren't on earth, like, in the mundane form. Not mundane. Mundane? I don't know if that's the right word. in like human form. They're just like general like spiritual entities. And then when like Lucifer, the angel, fell to earth because God was like, "You want to take over my job? Fuck you, sir." He like banished Lucifer to earth, or to hell or whatever, and Lucifer became Satan. And then Satan was like, "Well, I'm going to take all these other angels that think that what you're doing sucks with me." And they all became demons, and they're like labeled as evil and stuff. So they're also like spiritual entities that never walk the earth in like a human body, but unless they possess people, I guess. But they're like evil angels, you know? Hell's angels.
I think that when I think of demons, I think of like a human body. Like I think of them possessing someone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whereas ghost is like Casper, like just something that's like see-through.
Fair.
But whenever I think of a demon, I think of just like a shitty person.
No, that makes sense. You think of a shitty person. All of my enemies are demons.
All my ex-boyfriends, demons.
I can get behind that. That's honestly, that's fair. I feel like ghosts, because like, if we're thinking about certain spiritual beliefs, there's people that believe that like our human bodies are just vessels for our spirits and our souls. And so like when we die, our spirit or soul like moves on into the afterlife, if you believe in that. And those that don't go to like either heaven or hell or like are reincarnated, because honestly, like who knows what's actually real when it comes to that kind of stuff. The souls that like stay behind and are left on earth are like the ones that are the ghosties, little ghosties. And they can be like good or bad dependent, right? Like it's up to them. Do you think ghosts know that they're ghosts? Sorry. Finish your thought. I was like more questions.
I feel like I like to think it's like in a movie where it's like they're like walking around like just starting their day normally, and then like they go to like grab their toothbrush and it goes through their hand.
Oh my god.
Yes. And they're just like, what?
What? Oh, there's this one horror movie that I really like. It's called The Quiet Ones, I think. I think it's called The Quiet Ones. It's with, God, I don't even know the actress. But the premise is basically like this family lives in their house and they think that their house is being haunted by ghosts. And it's like a historical fiction type thing. So it's a, whatever that's called when the movie is in the past timeline. Kind of words this evening are really not coming to me easily. But they think that their house is being haunted by ghosts. And I'm about to spoil the entire movie for literally everybody, so close your ears if you don't want to hear this part. Basically, the plot twist is that they're actually the ghosts that are haunting the family. And so them going about their day normally in the house is like the family experiencing a haunting.
Whoa.
Right?
That's crazy.
Right? And like it was this huge twist. Very M. Night Shyamalan. That's...
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah.
That's his official name.
Yeah. As much as I've talked about him, I should know how to pronounce his name, but for some reason
I have no idea.
Does not come out of my mouth properly whenever I try to say it.
If you
M. Night Shyamalan, I think.
Shyamalan. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that they would move into a haunted house. They're like, I want to live in a haunted house, blah, blah, blah. Which I think is bullshit. I think you're lying.
I think it's a little masochistic.
Would you ever move into, like, if it was, like, a really cool house, but it was, like, really haunted, would you move in?
I would know that it's haunted prior to moving in.
Yeah, like, the realtor is, like, new flooring, got a really nice dishwasher, but, like, 8 people died here.
8 people? Oh, God.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, just lots.
Like, just various I would honestly see that as a sign that I should not move in and that I'm probably going to die in that house. If, like, there have been several
'Cause you're
families that have
normal.
lost someone, yeah. Because I have, you know, somewhat of a will to stay alive and to not be given mental and emotional trauma by entities I cannot see. Or who knows, maybe I can see them and that's even more terrifying. But,
Like American Horror Story.
yeah.
I hate that.
Honestly, like, shout out to American Horror Story for absolutely fucking with my mental state in high school.
Yes,
But
definitely.
I think the scariest part of that show was always the opening title sequence. I don't know, there was something
It's
weird
like
about
ingrained
it.
in my brain.
Yeah. It's like when you see like those weird TikToks and all of the comments are like, I reject the negative energy coming from this video. That's what I had to do with the title sequence from American Horror Story.
I kind of liked it, but it definitely had a weird energy.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that's one thing. I think that possibly I am sensitive to energies in a way where like I can tell whether or not things are groovy, all good, all safe to live in. I'm not going to be like terrified to like be in a place by myself, or like energy. The vibes are off. Vibes are mad negative. Do you relate to that sentiment? Does everybody have that? I feel like most people have that.
I think so, yeah. Like, there's definitely, like, times where I'm just like, I shouldn't be here, or, like, this feels off. Do you think that you'd be able to, like, go into, like, a haunted house and be like, oh, these are good spirits, or, like, this is a bad time?
Yes, because I have done that before. I've had
Really?
experiences before where I was like, oh, this is fine. But also knowing that something like clearly is being occupied. Actually, we should go into our ghost experiences. Do you have any that you can start off with?
I've got a few. My first experience would be in high school, just playing around with Ouija boards. Like, the first time I did it was grade 10, and then the second time, the people that I was with took it a little more serious, so we actually, like, kind of got something out of it, which I understand, like, most people don't really believe in it, but I feel like if you go in with, like, an open mind, you kind of get something out of it. But we talked to someone named Simon, allegedly. And I forget the questions we asked him or what he said, but it was something along the lines of him being just like an old man and passing away. And he had like a big family, from what I remember. But that night, we were headed home, and it was like really icy out, like it was middle of winter. And the car in front of us like spun out just because it was like on a patch of ice. And when my friend went out to go check on them, I like saw this guy, like this tall guy in like a suit that was too big for him. And I kind of just like, it was like one of those like you look and he's there and you look away and then he's not there anymore. So I was like, maybe I'm just like seeing things. I'm really tired. But it like didn't make sense for someone to be out there dressed like that in like the middle of the night in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
But then like I've had multiple dreams since then of like this guy in this suit kind of just being there, and not in like a negative way. Like it's like usually I'm having a nightmare and then when he shows up the nightmare's over.
That is so insane to me.
It's whack.
Right? Like I cannot get like, I don't know. It's just, how can people not believe in ghosts? Like, that's the thing. When I meet somebody and they're like, no, ghosts, definitely not real. I'm like, I, like, have people just genuinely not experienced things that are just, like,
Wacky.
wacky? And sure, like, maybe some of it is just like, oh, it's our brain just, like, trying to find ways to cope with things and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't know. I've had some, like, real hands-on experiences where I'm like, I don't think that's just something you can, like, chalk up to, like, a coincidence, you know? I don't know. It's...
I feel
touchy.
like, have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I actually haven't. I think I've had like something close to it, but like nothing that I can really put my finger on and say it was.
I get that like people like studied it,
Mm.
but it gives me like spirit vibes. Like I just feel
Oh,
like there's something going on there.
yeah.
Cuz I think I experienced it once.
Oh,
Um
really?
it was like I was at an ex's like studio apartment, like tiny
Mm.
tiny. You like turn your head to the right and you see the entire apartment.
Like mine.
And I woke up one morning, like it was small.
Yeah.
But I woke up one morning and opened my eyes, and from where I was laying, I could see the bathroom. And then I kind of closed my eyes because I was like still waking up, and then I opened them again, but I had like turned over, so I was facing a different wall. But when I opened my eyes, I saw like it was almost like a screenshot of what I was just looking at. Yeah,
Oh my
it
God.
doesn't make sense. But it was like, I was like, what the hell? I'm like, I just completely turned to the side. Why am I seeing the same thing I saw? So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I'm not fully awake. And so I like closed my eyes again. And this time I like rolled over onto my stomach and just like looked straight.
Yeah.
And I was seeing the bathroom still. And I
Oh
was
my
looking at the
God.
opposite wall. I know. And then I closed my eyes and I pulled the blankets over and I was just like, okay, I'm dreaming. This is fake. This isn't real. I opened my eyes again and I'm still seeing the bathroom. And
I
I was just like, no, I rebuke this. And I put the blanket back over my head. I was like, no, I'm just going to stay here until it stops happening. And it
Yeah.
eventually did. But like when I rolled over and had my eyes open and it wasn't doing that anymore, I realized that I was awake while that was happening.
Yeah.
Like I
That
was
is
moving around. It was so
no.
bizarre.
Mm-mm. That's nope. Like what kind of the thing is like okay, so someone would be like, "Oh, well maybe that's just your brain misfiring information, blah blah blah." But it's like four times?
Yeah.
Four times? Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a little bit suspicious and honestly, I would start crying.
Yeah, no, I was like tearing up. It was like the scariest thing ever.
No.
Because the first time I was just like, oh, I'm like just waking up, whatever. And then it like
Yeah.
happened multiple times. And I was like, my brain broke. Like
You're
my
like
eyes
stuck in a
froze.
reality that you cannot get out of. Nope.
Ugh.
No thanks. I rebuke that. Nope. Mm-mm.
Bad energy.
We're just gonna be it's this entire podcast is just us gonna be telling a scary story that we've experienced and then us being like, in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, I rebuke the shit out of that. Please
No,
stay
thank
away from me.
you.
No.
Yeah,
Um
that was.
that's absolutely fucked. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Well, I don't know what it is. I think is the part that's so scary.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like from what I've read, sleep paralysis, but
Yeah.
it was just so bizarre and random, and like only happened one time.
That yeah. Weird vibes with that one.
Hmm.
I haven't ever had sleep paralysis. I suffer from really wild dreams all the time. Um and like people like come to me in dreams and like tell me shit that I probably shouldn't know. And also like deja vu and stuff a lot. But I don't know. That seems like something that could spiral into a different topic because I do have a ghost story I want to share with you. So the most like hands-on tangible experience I've actually had with ghosts was not my Ouija board experience, but rather, and this is dark, so I'm actually gonna just put a trigger warning right now for suicide for our audience because it is part of the story, and so I will probably mention it. So if that bothers you and you're uncomfortable with it, I will let you know a timestamp that you can skip ahead to so you don't have to listen to the story. Hello, this is Abigail in Post to tell you that you can skip ahead about 4 minutes if you're looking to skip the subjects that will be talked about. If you're feeling a little bit sensitive to them, totally cool. The podcast goes on. Enjoy. But my cousin was married to a man for a couple of years. They had a kid together. And when she went to file for divorce because things weren't working out, he decided to take his own life at the house that they lived in at the time. And this house has been in our family for like years and years and years. It's this old ski chalet in like the middle of nowhere out in like rural Alberta. But our grandparents built a tree fort for us in the backyard because they used to live in the house, and then my cousin eventually moved in. Um, he ended up hanging himself off of this treehouse, which is very morbid. Um, so he took his own life in this very like sacred space to me and my cousins. Like it's a place that we'd literally grown up in. Like there was so much like magic and just like playfulness, and like our whole childhood is just like wrapped up in that space. Um, and so that was very like, I mean, the event itself was very hard for the family to like deal with and to cope with and stuff like that. But um, I think like there was a big part of us that was like kind of angry about that taking place there, because we were like, this was our like safe space, it was our sacred space. Like now it just feels a little bit like tarnished and weird, but we did everything that we could. Like we ended up holding like his wake at the place still, and like she continued to live there with her family because she was like very adamant, like this is my space, I'm not going to let this like ruin it and take it away from me, because you know,
Mm-hmm.
she was just very like adamant about staying there. But the first time that I visited her after the whole funeral and stuff like that, I was spending the night, and we were talking in the kitchen. Her 2-year-old son was asleep upstairs, in his crib, which he can't get out of by himself. And we were sitting in the kitchen just talking, and she mentioned to me, she was like, hey, just so you know, if you hear any like weird noises or footsteps or doors slamming coming from upstairs, um, just know it's Brandon. Brandon was the name of her um, ex-husband. Just know it's him, and like don't worry about it. No one else is here. He's just been making his presence known for like quite a while now, and so I just wanted to give you a heads up. And I was like, okay, noted. All right, thank you for that. I will be waiting. um, so we ended up like continuing to just sit in the kitchen and talk for a while. Um, and I think it was like a couple hours into our visit that like I heard a door slam and really heavy footsteps from upstairs, like a man's footsteps. And like, let me remind you that the only people there were literally me and her sitting downstairs in the kitchen, and her 2-year-old son who was asleep upstairs. Like we had the baby monitor and everything. And so I remember that happened, the door slamming, the footsteps, and like I just looked at her, like I was like, and she was like, yep, I told you. She's like, this keeps happening like every single night. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most insane thing. And then she just started yelling. She was like, fuck you, Brandon, leave. So then we had a good laugh about that, and it's good. I don't know if it's still happening. It's been like quite a few years now since that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's really what like solidified the existence of ghosts for me, because I was like, there is no way that was fake or in our heads, or her 2-year-old son getting out of his crib, stomping around upstairs and slamming doors. Like, I don't know. Like, it
Maybe
just
he was
doesn't make any
mad.
sense. I guess so. Didn't think to come down and say hi, I guess. But yeah, no,
That's so crazy.
it was insane. It was very like, I didn't feel scared per se. I just kind of was more like, where are the ghost hunters? Like, where, we need this on camera. Like, what's going on? We gotta make money off of this. But, you know, capitalism. I don't know.
Do you think that if you end up being a ghost, if that's a thing, do you think you'd haunt anyone?
Yes. Oh my God.
And if
so
so,
many
how would you
people.
haunt?
Oh, I would be such a little bitch about it. Holy fuck. I feel like there's some people that I just want to annoy, you know, like misplacing things. But then there's some people that I'm like, gonna repay you for the trauma that you gave me with more trauma. Very malicious intent with some people, for sure.
I agree.
But I think it would be fun. I honestly, like, if I was aware that I was a ghost and able to haunt people, I think that, like, I would have fun with it and maybe try to complete my mission here on Earth so I could go somewhere else, but, like, it could be
Maybe
fun.
just fuck around.
Yeah. What about you? What about you?
I completely agree. I think there's like a ton of people that I would just annoy in the sense of like moving their keys when they're late for work or something like that. But then there's also like a couple people that I think I would like make their walls bleed if I could. Like I want them to freak out.
Absolutely. Like, lock them in their basement with all the lights off and, like, start, like, what's the thing from, Ouija, I think is the movie, with the claps. They play the clapping game. Ooh,
Yeah.
that shit spooks me. You best beware. Those who have wronged me know who they are.
Yeah,
They're gonna
word.
get haunted.
None of them are listening to this.
No, that's true. That is true.
Just know.
I'm heavily depending on the fact that I'm going to die sooner than they are as well, which, don't know. Maybe I'll just, like, get really good at communing with ghosts and, like, have a ghost army I can send to people to, like, haunt them for me.
Yeah, like this guy just died. Look out for him.
Yeah.
Give him
Just
a
put
hard
up
time.
wanted posters for ghosts. Me walking around Montreal with, like, posters that say, hey, if you're a ghost, I have a mission for you. Take this email and send me an email if you're looking to haunt some people for me.
If you're in the process of figuring out what your purpose is and need a break, make this guy miserable.
Yeah. In repayment, I will help you with your earthly purpose. That would be such a fun job.
Have you seen Ghost
Just,
Whisperer?
No.
It's a show with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and that's like what she does. She just like talks to ghosts and tries to get them to like cross over. So she like helps them like reunite with family, or if they're like mad, she's like, "Hey, get over it." And they're
Oh my
like,
God.
"Okay."
Isn't that kind of like Whoopi Goldberg's role in Ghost as well?
I think so.
At least she can, like, commune with the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Swayze is, like, the first ghost that she, like, has been able to talk to in a while. And she's like, I don't fucking want this. Get your ghost boyfriend away. And just ends up helping him, like, pass over onto the other side.
I'd let him haunt me.
Patrick Swayze ghost?
Like if it was like a hot
100%.
ghost.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Sexy boyfriend ghost?
The
Thank
dream.
you.
I think that I have like a checklist of like, okay, so if there is a haunted house
Okay.
and I knew it was haunted, okay, I would stay over for sure just to experience it, see if it's like real or not. But would not sign a lease because if stuff starts happening, you want to get out of there.
Yeah, no.
Like,
no
if
renting haunted spaces.
No, absolutely not. Like imagine being like, hey, to your landlord, the cabinets keep slamming every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally blood coming out of the faucet. And she's like, well, your lease is up in 6 months, so you're going to have to
Yeah.
hang
Stick
tight.
it out.
I think also if the haunting is only in the house, I wouldn't want a haunting that like followed me around.
Oh, yeah. That
Like, I
would be so
wouldn't wanna, like-
annoying.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to, like, start a family 10 years later and have the same ghost. Like, I'd want it to just be
Yeah.
in the house, and it's like, when I'm sick of it, I just walk
Yeah, that's
out.
true. You just,
They're,
like,
like,
for, like, a
tied.
fun character building experience in your 20s, you, like, live in a haunted location. And you're like, just for this year, I'm gonna stick out a year in a haunted location, see what kind of personality traits I get from it,
Just for the
and
stories.
then, like, move on and live my life. Yeah. I think there's a D&D character that you can be that has, like, a haunted past. I can't remember what it's called, though.
Necromancer, maybe?
Possibly.
I'm just
I don't
saying
know.
necromancer because they, like, bring people back
Yeah.
from the dead.
I know that there's, like, a character trait that you can pick where that gives them a, like, storyline of like a history of like being very haunted by like actual spirits and also just like their trauma. Gives them very dark, moody qualities.
It's like all of my
Play.
D&D characters.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and it's mainly because I don't want to like do like a silly voice.
Yeah.
And like, she's like really monotone and just kind of hangs out.
Very deadpan, does not give a shit, but also is like really good in combat, but is low key about it, you know?
And has my voice. This is what
Exactly.
she sounds like.
She is very sexy, hot, and cool. Um, my friend told me I have Aubrey Plaza energy today. Can
I
we
could see
talk about
it.
that for like 1 minute? I know it's not about ghosts, but
I feel like you're not, like, she's bizarre. Like, in a really good way, but like, really just says out of pocket stuff.
yeah.
I don't think you're there yet, but I can see it.
I'm getting there. The more I develop, the more I just genuinely do not give a shit anymore.
I'm only getting hotter and weirder.
As the meme said that you sent me, honestly, live by that now.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna like blow it up and put it on my wall.
It's going on my gravestone, I think. I'm gonna be in my grave, like rolling over in my grave, just getting hotter and weirder. The ghosts, me as a ghost, I'd be like wacky as hell. Everybody's gonna love me.
Just a ghost with jokes.
Yeah. Just a practical jokester.
You just like spray water onto your
Yeah.
the
I like
people you're haunting.
I just like proceed to do like weird pranks on the people that I'm haunting, and like in blood on the wall it just says pranked.
Got you.
Got you.
You've been punked. You're working with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. You've been on candid cameras. Do you have more ghost experiences to share?
Why do I have side bangs right now, dude?
Honestly,
I get like
laugh and
really
love it.
I get like really random stuff happen. Like I live in an older building right now. It's not that old, but a few months ago I was in the shower and I had my phone on the counter, and it wasn't like on top of anything on like a slant, and it wasn't like on the edge. It was like well into the counter. Does that make sense?
No, that's fair.
Like I like pushed it back to make sure. And like midway through my shower, it like I just heard it bang, and it was on the floor, like on the opposite side of the bathroom. So, and there was like a mark on the wall. So it wasn't like it like fell off the counter. It like hit the wall and fell. And I was like, how? We're not gonna get into this. I'm gonna finish my shower. I'm gonna move on with my day.
I might move out. I think that I have like a closet door that doesn't close properly. And even that, I'm like, I can't have that happen. I like put fabric in the door crack so that it doesn't open, because having a door like slightly ajar,
It's freaky.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
I think this place is
come
blessed,
through there.
though.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you
I burn
did
a lot
it,
of
or-
incense, first of
oh.
all. No, well, partially. Like, I burn a lot of incense. I'm very about, like, keeping the space very, like, calm and peaceful. No negative vibes here. But when I moved in, this girl had this rock in the bathroom mirror, like, in the cabinet. And she basically said, it's like this little white rock. Sorry. It's this little white rock, and thank you. She was like, yeah, this rock has been here for like the past 3 tenants or something like that. And she was like, the girl that found it like brought it into the apartment with her and said it was the lucky rock, and so the other tenants have just like passed it along with the apartment, and it's the lucky rock for the apartment. And I remember when, like, because I didn't get to see the place before I signed the lease because of COVID and stuff, but when she was moving out and I was, like, bringing my first load of stuff here, she, like, talked to me about it and showed me, and I, like, held the rock, and I was like, this is blessed. First of all, with the power of feminine energy. Second of all, with this cool rock. Because I think it's all been like women that have lived here for like the past like 4 or 5 years. And yeah, the rock is lucky and still here in my bathroom cabinet. So it's blessed for sure.
That sounds great, but also reminded me of a scary story.
Oh, what?
Have you seen the TikToks of that girl in New York that she felt a breeze in her bathroom and figured out it was coming from behind the mirror? And she took off the mirror and there's a huge hole in the wall and it led into another apartment.
I haven't seen the TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I know that's not possible for my mirror because the wall that it's on is behind my stove.
Oh, I didn't mean to freak you out.
However, I am overthinking this now. However, the one creepy part about my apartment is like all of the apartments have a fire escape access in their apartment. So it's just like one door that leads to a staircase.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have like a proper lock on it. Like it's just like one of those latches that you would find on like a bathroom stall or something like that.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out a little bit because I'm like, anyone in the building can just like come down the fire escape and like try to get into my apartment. I always have it locked. I never have it unlocked, but I'm still like,
yeah,
it's just a little creepy for me.
It's a little freaky.
I have also had a Ouija board experience. Let me set the mood for you. This was Halloween of 2016. Fresh out of a mental breakdown. Very few friends that I was certain about my relationship with. I invited all of them over to my apartment on Halloween. We had some little drinkies, we had some snacks, and I made us a homemade Ouija board to use that night. Because apparently the veil between the human world and the spirit world is supposed to be the thinnest on like Halloween night, and that's like the whole purpose. So I was like, this is the perfect night to do it. I had just gotten a little bit cocky, started watching horror movies all the time. I was like, you know what? I want to have my own little ghosty experience. So we did just that. It was pretty insane, honestly. We talked to like a bunch of different spirits that like all told very different stories about themselves, and that was like the one thing that kind of told me that like, oh, this isn't necessarily fake. Like things aren't just like getting played around with. It didn't feel staged at all. Like it was very, very real. Very, I don't know. It was very real to me and to like literally everybody else there. We talked to like a ghost that had died of AIDS supposedly, and she was telling us all about her story, and like this one little kid ghost that could barely spell a word. He was like 3 years old or something like that, which is pretty morbid, I'm not gonna lie to you. But they were like telling us these stories about their lives before death, and like that was like one thing where I was like, one person isn't gonna be sitting here like, you know, all of us were very like stunned and like spooked. Mm-hmm. But the worst part about that was afterwards, technically, when you're supposed to get rid of a Ouija board, you're supposed to burn it in order to like get rid of all of like the energy and the attachments to it. I didn't do that. I made mine out of cardboard, so I decided to recycle it, like the good environmentalist that I am. But I took it down to my building's recycling room, and then past that point, like every single time I had to go down into the garbage room, it just felt like weird. Like I said, I'm pretty good at reading energies and spaces. I feel like most people are. The trash room in that apartment building, vibes are mad off. And then what solidified that for me was a friend of mine, literally like a year later, moved into the same building. I wasn't living there anymore. But she had this thing, like whenever I would come over, she would like ask me to go down to the garbage room with her, and she was like, I really don't like it in there. It gives me like really creepy energy. Like I don't like being in there alone. And I was like, oh, okay, hold up. I think that was my fault. I'm not gonna lie to you. I may have unintentionally haunted the garbage room of that apartment building, and I'm honestly okay with that. Yeah, Not sorry.
We love an environmental queen.
Yeah. Environmentally spirit friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just reminded of, there was this like abandoned house in this neighborhood. It was like, I think it was in grade 12 when we discovered it, but it was like a brand new area and all these like new houses were going up, and in this like big open space there's this tiny little like old house. So obviously me and my friends went in it, and we went in it a couple times and the vibes were okay. And like the second or third time I went, we like invited our other friends, and it was just like, you know, windows smashed, like just like spooky, like tiny little house. But like third or second time, I can't remember. One of the times I went, when we were walking around and it was still like light out, there was like a few dead pigeons. So there was always like a bunch of birds, and there's like quite a few dead ones in the kitchen of the old house, and most of them just looked like they were frozen because it was cold out. But there was one specifically that I remember that like the head looked like it was completely turned, like it was like twisted, which I was like, oh, not gonna mention, don't want to kill the vibes with my friends here because they think we're having a swell time. And I was like, ooh. I think I told one of my friends and they were like, let's never go back here again. But I remember one specific evening we all went, and then there were some cops in the neighborhood, so we left, and then we were planning on going back. And when we went back, there's like two or three windows where you could see into the basement from outside. And we were going in, and I looked down, and like the window had been smashed, which like we heard a noise the last time we were there, so we assumed that's what it was. But I looked in, and there was like this like, I don't know if it was like a cellar door, because I feel like that's, I mean, I guess so. It was like this like door in the floor. Like a latch you pull out, and it was open, and it's never been open. And we had like walked into the basement a couple times, but I was like, I'm gonna go back to the car. I'm like, let's not do this. And I don't think we went back since, and it's been like torn down since. But
oh my god,
I was like, I don't think any like sane person at this time would go down and open that up. Or if they did, they're gone now. But I was like, I feel like some sort of energy was like unleashed, and we should probably leave.
Oh my god, no. Houses are abandoned for a reason, whether that be structural, spiritual, who knows. Best to just leave them be.
Definitely.
You know? Although very cool. I have yet to, like, I mean, when I was a kid, I feel like we would do our best to find like abandoned houses to get into. Even my mom, it was so weird. We would like drive around rural Alberta together. It was like our bonding exercise to try and find like abandoned houses to break into with my mother. I'm just realizing now that was weird, but
it's
I was
like, what are we gonna get into,
like,
girls?
Yeah, literally, girls trip to abandoned house to break into. Honestly, my mom's the coolest. Shout out to my mom. But yeah, like mostly what I could find would be like abandoned barns and stuff like that, because I mean it's just where we lived, so houses were never an option. Although I do remember there was like a phase on Instagram back in like 2013 where like this one influencer that I followed would like find abandoned like mansions and estates and like take photos in them. And it'd be like, ugh. Look at my very tiny body in this giant abandoned house. That was cool. That inspired me to try and find more abandoned houses for sure.
They're cool. I think there's like I follow this guy. I say like every second word, but it's fine.
Same.
There's this guy named Josh, I think, on YouTube. He just like travels the world looking for abandoned places, but he like gets to find amusement parks and stuff like that, which is
Oh
way
my
cooler.
God.
I feel
That
like
is so dope.
we don't really have
Very creepy
any of that.
also.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I think bonding exercise, we have to find abandoned amusement park. I'm sure there are
Yes.
some in Alberta. There has to be.
I don't know about Alberta, but there's definitely like tons around the world. Like there's another YouTube channel. I watch a lot of YouTube. His name's Defunctland, and he talks about.
Oh, I've heard of him.
He rocks. He talks about either old like amusement parks or like just attractions that are at current amusement parks, and there's like a shit ton that like I've never heard of, and it's crazy.
Oh my God.
Well, there's a death at Disney World or Disneyland, one of the two. Like one of the employees got crushed in between one of the moving like mechanics and one of the ride.
Yeah.
And
I
so it might be
absolutely-
haunted.
I, like, that is very devastating and sad. But also, like, metal as fuck. Like, Disney World, go hard, I guess.
She put in her like a spring break request. And they just let the park do the rest. I'm sorry, that's really fucked up. But I just think
We're gonna
that,
have some listeners that were like, "Oh, so this is the kind of podcast this
and
is."
they're like, delete, block. No, it's devastating and horrible, but
Yeah.
might be haunted. I forgot which ride it
Honestly.
was. It was one with some bears, like the country bears. I don't know what it is now, but
Oh, the Country Bears. I don't know if that one exists anymore because it was like low-key racist.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
It was replaced. I don't know what it is now, but that's what it was, I think, when it happened.
Wow. Wow.
Speaking of spooky content, it's not really spooky. That falls more into, like, true crime.
Yeah.
But do you ever watch Salad Fingers as a kid?
All the time. Once again,
Why?
something that. Okay, you know, my favorite TikTok sound at the moment. Hold up, screen went dark again. My favorite TikTok sound at the moment is that guy that's like, I think this is impacting me mentally. Like, may have some. I fucking can't remember it now. But everyone always like makes TikToks to it that's like consuming media or like something happening to them as a kid that like probably fucked with them as an adult.
Yeah.
Salad Fingers was one of those things for sure.
It was so
It gave
bizarre.
me, like, all of those videos have such negative energy, and I feel like everyone just kind of like watched it to be edgy, but also like it's fascinating, like still as an adult.
It's crazy that someone's brain came up with that and was like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to release this.
Yeah. Like, a very dark and twisted. And did he know, like, did he want it to become popular with kids? Was that his intention? Like, because that's even creepier,
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
really weird.
I just remember there was, like, a big bit of him, like, lactating because of touching rusty spoons. Which,
I think I blocked
Like,
that
what the
one out,
fuck?
Abby, so thanks.
yeah. That's, like, the one thing that I do remember as I was, like, he lactated. And also, like, roasted a kid in an oven.
Yeah. I remember I watched like an explanation of Salad Fingers, and apparently there's like a really well thought out story behind it.
Whoa,
But it's
wait,
so
you have
bizarre.
to send that to me.
Yeah, I'll
You
find it.
have
I'll
to
send
that
it.
to me. Okay.
But it's like he had like those finger puppets, and they were all like actual people in his life. I don't know.
Oh.
Bizarre. If you haven't watched it, honestly, don't taint your brain.
No, but like I want to. Like, this is the kind of shit I watch on YouTube. Do you remember I sent you literally like an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hour long video about like
I heard a bang.
active haunting on the podcast?
Just give me a second.
Okay, I'll take another Joel break.
Hopefully I come back. My boyfriend was taking a nap and he emerged, and I just went out and looked down the dark hallway and he just stumbled out.
Oh no.
It scared the shit out of me. Anyways.
Oh my god. Oh, also shout out to your boyfriend Mal for doing like a bunch of the editing for our logo and for
Yeah.
like the opening credit sequence and stuff like that.
It looks really cool. I'm excited about it because I don't think I would have been able to create something like that.
Yeah, no, I would have tried. It would have been very horrible. I honestly like I was explaining to my friend Taya, who also has a podcast today. I was like, I am so tech illiterate that I will do everything on my phone if I possibly can.
Same.
Because as soon as things get onto like the computer territory for editing programs, I am not so great. Although I have learnt Premiere Pro now, and I am pretty proud of myself. But aside from that, I do everything on like Procreate Pocket. I did some graphics in TikTok, which love that for me. Procreate Pocket, TikTok, and then this little like text photo app thing called Fonto. Shout out to Fonto. It's literally had my back since I was 13 years old, so I'm very into that. But that's just the tips and tricks from Abigail. If you are tech illiterate, get you some usable iPhone apps.
Yeah, I feel like apps are easier to use.
Yeah.
Like on your phone.
100%.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh. I don't know if you're into like really spooky stuff. Like I love horror movies. I grew up on them. I literally have the Bride of Frankenstein tattooed on my arm.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, she's a baddie. Anyways. It's like really hard for a movie to freak me out or to just get me freaked out in general with anything.
Okay.
I mean, aside from my nightmares, they know what they're doing. They get me.
True.
They absolutely
my
get me.
subconscious fucking worst horror film I've ever seen in my life.
Last night, I woke up at 3 a.m. because I was having a bad dream, and it was like someone like running at me to like attack me. And so I woke up and I was like, every noise, I was like, what if someone just came through this fucking door? Like, what would I even do? Like, I was like thinking, I was like, could I like break dance into like a, like swing my legs up and like kick them away from like my position right now? And then I was like adjusting my position. I was like, okay, if someone comes in, I might be able to hit them like this.
Not you going from like some slasher movie to Step Up to in like one night.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like dancers would survive an attack.
100%.
They just
Oh my
pop,
God.
lock, and rock out of it.
What
Anyways,
other
I'm
hobbies
so
do you
off
think?
track.
No. I like where this is going. I like it. Do you think that there's any like other very useful hobbies for being in like a horror movie scenario?
I feel like just someone who watches a lot of horror movies would do well.
Honestly, that's fair.
Like,
I'm
I
thinking
often-
like maybe like someone who knits. Like if you constantly have like knitting needles or like crochet needles on you.
Dude, that
At
was
any
literally
given
the
moment.
first thing I was gonna say. And then I was like, no, that's dumb.
Let me be the first one to say, those who knit, you have officially stayed strapped for longer than you probably think you have. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that
Knitting is hard as fuck.
it is. I agree. I want to like get a baseball bat to just keep like next to the bed.
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel
that's
like that
another
would
one.
be
If you
like
play
weapon
baseball-
of choice. Pardon?
If anybody plays baseball, like why is my first instinct to be like, I want a bow and arrow. I need a bow and
Daryl
arrows.
Dixon.
And yeah.
I'm gonna mention
Well,
him on
we're-
every single podcast. I'm gonna find a
Literally.
way.
I was like, all right, Brittany, we get it. You have a secondary love.
Hit me up, Norman Reedus.
Okay, yeah. Honestly,
Anyways, sorry.
let's get him on the show.
That's where I want to get.
Yeah, we're manifesting that shit for real. Ooh, you should ask your final question My AirPods are at 10% also.
Oh, my phone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, final question. There's a lot of movies and shows and books. I said books funny. Cut it. Go back. Final question. No, you can leave that in. Anyways, final question. Supernatural love stories are very
Yes.
big in movies and books and shows. If you were to choose, what supernatural being would you pick? So, like, vampire, wolf, ghost, what else is there? Demon, mermaid.
You see, I'm changing my answer from the one that I gave you off the record.
I'll keep it
But
to myself.
I think it is. No, I cannot be dishonest with any audience that we have. I did say werewolf earlier before thinking because I thought it would be hot. But then came to the realization that that probably makes me a furry. And
It's okay, Abigail. Live your truth.
no, you know what?
You were like, shut that down.
I take it back. After more forethought, 100% I would love, absolutely love. Oh my god, if you are a sexy demon out there, like, hit me up. And I'm thinking like Sabrina the Teenage Witch cast, like
Or Lucifer.
not Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. There are some hot ass demons in there, and honestly, like, I'm down. Or just like a witch in general, although those do exist, kind of.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think so. What about you?
I gave it a lot of thought, and I feel like all of them sound kind of awful. Like, when I was like 12, I was like, oh my god, I want a vampire boyfriend. That's what I sounded like when I was 12. But then I started thinking about the idea that, like, these people that have lived for like hundreds of years, always try to date 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
There's something creepy going on there. So,
Yeah.
Werewolves, I feel like there's a lot of, like, trying to calm your werewolf partner down because they can't really control it. You're like, no, stop! I know him. You're like, look at me. You're not like this.
I'm gonna transform! I feel like that's most men anyways. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing, like, super interesting about that one.
I mean, demon's good. If they're, like, a kind demon.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, like, fully evil. I guess I'd pick, like, a witch or a warlock then, because then it's, like, you're like, magic, but you're not, like, trying to destroy civilization. I don't,
That's
like,
true.
werewolves and vampires, like, eat people, and I don't think I could get behind that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's
That is
my
fair.
answer.
And demons just, like, want to take over everybody's soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of hot. Like, I'm kind of into the whole, like, domination of the world. You know? Domination of the mortal realm. I would totally, if I'm talking about The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I would totally pull a Lilith and be like, hell yes, I'll be your handmaiden if you promise to make me the queen of hell.
I haven't seen the show.
Well, for those of you who have,
I thought Lilith
you know
was,
what
like,
I'm
the
talking about.
daughter. Who's Lilith?
She's Lucifer's love interest, I guess. Wife, kind of.
See, I've seen Lilith be, like, a kid in a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Depends. I'm not familiar with the storyline there. But yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like I would love to be like a sexy demons GF.
I respect
and
it.
if they if they do take over like the mortal realm, they'd be like, and you can roll by my side, and I would be like, yes, baby. And then I try to like reform the entire structure of hell itself, because that's just like what I try to do when I get into any managerial role ever. So
I think I'm going to change my answer to demon too. I feel like the world
really?
needs to be controlled a little bit.
Wow, I feel so happy to be so convincing.
Well, I feel like it'd be
I should
like
become a lawyer.
Even if he was like really evil, if he like was like in love with you, like I feel like in all these movies and stuff, it's like a really like obsessive love. He would like let me do what I wanted to do, and I would be like, stop being racist, and they would be like, no, and then he would come and like pick them up by their nostrils.
Yes.
And then it'd be like,
And
what
this
now?
is how we fight injustice.
Yeah.
We just date sexy demons.
I'm like, oh, you just had a negative thought? Get him, Lucifer.
oh my god, you just had a negative thought. Oh my god. I would be so dead.
Same.
Yeah. Oh well. Only positive thoughts. Positive vibes only. For your boss babes.
Abby's vibrating.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Yeah. Like I said, near the end of the podcast, I always feel like I spin out. I'm just like...
Yeah, once I'm finishing my
Like
other beer, I'm like, anyways.
Well, yeah.
I guess that is it.
Yeah.
I love to talk
tune
about
in.
this subject again. Maybe we'll like
Yeah.
fine tune it. I want to talk about
We have to
Twilight.
do-
I texted Abigail a while ago.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a perfect episode. And honestly, like, I think you all should tune in for our later episodes to find out if I do, in fact, find the demon BF of my dreams.
And if she's a furry. We may come to that.
I'm not a furry. Shut the fuck up about that one. I swear to God. Anyways, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. And gays.
Catch you next episode.
And non-binaries.
Yeah, guys, gays, theys.
All of you.
We are hanging. We're chilling over here. I hope you are too. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at The LonelyCast. We're also on YouTube if you're not already watching us there. It's The LonelyCast Podcast. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.